Here we go again.
No, not again.
You've been fooled.
How long have we been doing this?
Once more unto the verge.
Again until we're both dead.
Hello and welcome to You've Seen It Before, movie reviews with connections in mind. Justice League is hitting theaters this month. It is directed by Zack Snyder and also partially directed by Joss Whedon after Zack Snyder bowed out after an unfortunate death in the family. And this movie is the culmination of the DC Extended Universe. Mainly, we get to finally see the characters of Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, The Flash, Cyborg, and of course Superman all team up against the baddie Steppenwolf and defeat his plans of world conquest. Now, I'm going to do a spoiler-free review to start this off, but later there will be spoilers, so just to start off my spoiler-free review and impressions, this movie is definitely worth checking out if you are a fan of the DCEU thus far, or at least the characters of Batman, Wonder Woman, etc. If you were expecting this film to be better than Batman v Superman, which was a letdown for a lot of people, I would say it is definitely better than Batman v Superman. If you're expecting it to be of the same caliber as Wonder Woman, which a lot of people thought was exceptionally good, and it is, it's not as good as Wonder Woman, I will say that. Not many movies can be, but alas, it is not quite up to the same caliber as Wonder Woman. It is a departure, a course correction of the DCEU, it is a bit of a change in tone from previous films. Mainly, it's not quite as dark and brooding as Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad were. It is definitely more lighthearted and fun. There's some great banter in between the characters. Specifically, I would say Aquaman is probably the star of this as far as banter goes. The Flash, Ezra Miller's character, does do a bit on his own, but I would say, of the whole, I would say Aquaman, Jason Momoa, does the best job in that department, and the movie definitely benefits from that. Some negatives of this fact, it is a bit jarring at times with the tone changes. It does suffer from a villain problem in Steppenwolf. I don't think the CGI is very good on his character. I felt that was kind of rushed. Also, the character development is not quite that great in his character, and for the other three members of the Justice League, mainly Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg, they're really introduced in this movie. We did get brief glimpses of them in as far as email attachments are in BVS, brief little clips of them, but we really get introduced to them here. And if you're not well versed in DC lore, you might be scratching your head at times saying, what is going on? Who are these people? What's the significance of this? And to be perfectly honest, Batman is also, the only reason that his character doesn't really need to be developed is that there's been so many Batman films over the years that he really doesn't need a solo film prior to this. And aside from that, Wonder Woman, of course, had her solo movie before this, and so we know her motivations are fleshed out quite well. And on the whole, I would say I would have liked a little more character development on this front, but they really couldn't do that since they're essentially playing catch-up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But overall, I would say this is definitely worth checking out. It's definitely a fun film. It's not... If you go into this knowing that the plot is only so much that you need in order to appreciate the fight sequences, then you're going to get a lot out of this. If you're looking for something a little deeper, there are a couple little morsels, especially in debates between Batman and Wonder Woman, but on the whole, you're not going to get that much deep philosophical stuff in Justice League. And if you're expecting that, I don't know what to tell you. So, those are my spoiler-free remarks for that. Definitely go check it out. Now, here's the part where I say the rest of this video review will contain spoilers of Justice League, as well as certain other films and TV shows, and there will be a full list in the description below. And if you have not seen Justice League yet, and want to wait until you have, stop the video at this point and come back later. But with these things in mind, though, let's get into these. So inevitably there will be comparisons between Justice League and the other main superhero team-up film, the Avengers. This is it's been sort of a thing where DC's been playing catch-up with Marvel, trying to copy their formula of as best they can with their style of getting a team-up film. And to be perfectly honest, these are definitely different gatherings, but there are certain similarities between Justice League and with the Avengers, both of the current Avengers film, the first Avengers and Age of Ultron. Both of these feature, of course, a team-up of various characters. Both of these films feature infighting among the team members. Both these feature recruiting these team members from far-off lands, and many are reluctant to go into it and only join in order to get when they know the stakes properly. Both of these also involve rescuing civilians, mainly between Justice League and Age of Ultron, where the action takes place in a Eastern European city, and there are civilians in the way, and the heroes have to help evacuate these civilians from the danger path in order so the other heroes can take down the main villain, Steppenwolf in Justice League and Ultron in Age of Ultron. Also, both of these films feature a character whose power is linked to a power cube that is the central point of conflict for that current film. In Justice League, we see the three mother cubes that combine to form the Unity, and Cyborg essentially derives his powers from one of these mother cubes, and he uses that power in order to defeat Steppenwolf in the end. In the Avengers, we see the power cube is the Tesseract, and as we learn in Iron Man 2, the Tony Stark's arc reactor is based on Tesseract technology in a very early sense, but nonetheless based on the Tesseract power, and he derives his power from the arc reactor and also and therefore the Tesseract. This film's finale also strikes me a little bit similar to the finale of X-Men Apocalypse. In fact, both of these films share a villain whose development is somewhat lacking. All we really know about them is that they want to destroy the world and reshape it in their image, and in their likeness. Apocalypse wants to mold its world of mutants under his rule. Steppenwolf wants to essentially destroy the Earth and transform it into a world more akin to his home world. And both of these films involve a cloud of either debris or energy. They look very similar, both of these films, in the finale, that's sort of protecting the villain and encasing the area where the heroes are fighting. So there's a comparison to make there. Finally, while this is not a unique trope, one of the probably worst kept secrets of the Justice League was that after Batman v Superman, we see Superman die, and the question is, would he return for Justice League? The answer is yes, he gets revived for Justice League. And there's a lot of debate as to whether or not to revive him or not, and it's ultimately decided that he should be revived because his presence would be a glue, essentially, for the team, and be a leader influence for the team, and he fills a vital role for that, for those characters, and he is revived accordingly. And there's also a certain element of, right after he is revived, there is a certain element of Superman questioning whether he could be left to rest in peace or not, and whether if he comes back, will he be the same person anymore. This is not a unique trope to film, but the example that came to mind of a similarity to this actually comes from Star Trek Voyager, mainly the 4th season episode Mortal Coil. It involves the character of Neelix, who gets killed by a random energy discharge, and he actually dies for a certain amount of time. And the character 7 of 9 is able to revive him through her technology, and the rest of the episode is devoted to him questioning whether he is the same person that he was before he was revived, and whether or not he should have been left to die. But of course, in the end, it's revealed that he was revived because he performs a vital function for that crew, and it would have they had the opportunity to revive him, so they could. In fact, they should have. So as I said, it's not a unique trope. There are many other films and TV shows that do that, especially science fiction, but that was the example that came to mind for me. So those are the main comparisons that I focused on. I'm sure there are several others that I may have missed. Be sure to leave them in the comments below if you can think of any, or if you disagree with any of my conclusions as well. Those are the main connections for Justice League. I also, if anyone bothered to realize, I didn't actually make a video review for Murder on the Orient Express. I have a written review of it. I'll put a link down below. I just didn't feel like there was enough material for a full You've Seen It Before style review. I would say if you were going to see it, I definitely check it out. It's worth it. If you're going to make a comparison to it, I would compare it to the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes films in terms of mystery structure and kind of turning the main detective into sort of at least an action hero, at least from the beginning scenes where he is shown to be a little bit ahead of the game. So there's my brief little snippet for there. Definitely go check that out. But thank you all for watching. I appreciate whatever audience I can get. Be sure to look for my review of Darkest Hour, which will be the next You've Seen It Before review that I'll be doing. After that, it will probably just be a matter of time before Star Wars comes out, and then I'll be doing a review of that as well. Thank you all for watching, and just remember, there's nothing new under the sun, and yes, you have seen it before.